to a point that we're still able to stand, but we're not doing anything else. Okay, so if we're doing this as a Qigong, we have to release. So I'll start again, down to my legs, and I release here, so watch the quad. There goes my quad. There goes my thighs. There goes my knees, and I keep them in line because they're going to want to start wobbling. And then, the real tricky stuff is down at the bottom. You release your ankles, you might not even be able to see that. You release the feet. And now it's like you're melting into a puddle underneath you on the ground. And what this does is it allows your body weight to drain into your lower body. If you do this exercise, you're going to find that you feel like you weigh about 3 times as much as you normally do. Because every bit of muscular tension in the body picks us up. And because it picks us up, it actually makes us lighter on our feet. So even if you weigh 200 pounds, there's really not 200 pounds on your feet most of the time. You're actually holding a lot of it, especially in your intercostals. But by releasing muscularity, the body drops into the ground. This is what people are calling root. And it's being able to move and fight and do things in that place that matters. And now when you're doing art, as weird as what we're doing, I have to be able to have root while I'm on one leg, while I'm bent over sideways. I have to be able to take power in any position. So yes, this is balance, but look at my body. If I balance, I actually lose balance because I pick up myself. I'm not even on my leg, kind of up here. But if I soften everything, you can see my weight drop and I become more stable every single time. So root, because we're English speakers, it's the word we use, but it's not a great word really. It implies immobility, and because it implies trees, we think about stiffness. Trees are big and strong, especially if we're North Americans, right? What trees do we have? Pine trees, spruce trees, oak trees, things that are big and strong. They don't move much in the wind, they're powerful. So we try to emulate that unconsciously. It's not what we want. So you want to become soft, really, really soft. Now I prefer the word grounding instead of rooting, because no matter how soft I become, no matter how much strength I release out of my body, and how much happens to hit the earth, I don't actually dig myself into it, okay? Not in real life, not physicality. So instead I hit the ground. This terminology we have to have kind of a magical metaphor for as well. So root, we have roots burying into the earth. Grounding, I kind of see it like a magnet. I put my foot on the ground and it sticks. Okay? And as soon as I make the mental decision I'm going to move that foot again, the poles reverse. So this becomes north to south. They stick together. But rooting tends to make you immobile. So grounding, I stick my feet to the earth like magnets, and as soon as I go, I'm going to move my right leg. Because I reverse the polarity mentally, the image becomes this. The earth actually pushes my leg away. So what you start to see is if I root, so if I'm just in some kind of drunken thing, if I really root my right leg, so I'm doing the imaginary roots down into the center of the earth, if I have to move my leg, watch my upper body. I have to kind of pull my leg out of the ground. If I ground my leg, same posture. If I ground my leg, when I move it, it snaps off the earth for me. And I become quick on my feet. And I'm becoming like the footwork guy lately, these last couple of years, because my students tend not to have any footwork, and I hate it. You have to have good footwork. And an overemphasis on rooting tends to kill people's footwork because you become immobile. So then something like push hands, you become super hard to move. But the second you fight, you're not fast. You have to have both. So grounding is kind of the key. So what I want to do in this video, now that I've blathered on, is just give you some postures to try grounding in. Okay? Of course you have the stepping form. This is where you should be training it at the beginning. But let's do something more advanced. Because I mean, I'm all the way in Israel. I'm not going to teach like beginner stuff. Flew halfway around the world. So here's our first posture. This is a very tall Mabu. This is the one I was just doing. I'm going to turn one toe in slightly. I'm going to lean my weight into the left side in this case. Okay, and this is like some called a pushed-in horse. Sometimes some systems call it a soft-toed boxing stance. And the soft toes thing means I actually roll my weight a little bit off my heels. We're going to take our left hand, left leg, right, up high, and our right hand down low. This is one of the transitional postures you'll find in drunken. I don't think I've ever taught this on film, so this is a good one. So one of the transitional postures, this is in the middle of this. See it? So we're going to stand in a transition. And because it's a transition, I can't root. Because I'm technically moving right now. Right? I'm in the middle of my lotus stepping. So I take the transitional posture and I release tension from the top of the head, it's just like I did earlier. And now I root. I'll drive my legs down into the earth and I'll feel myself settle. And the evenness throughout that I was referring to in earth, I should feel it here in my body. My body should feel the same all over it, meaning soft. And then like the salt settling to the bottom of the glass, I'll feel my weight settle into my legs. And this should suck. When you do this for a while, this should really hurt. So here I am, 2 tenths, rooting. And I imagine and feel all the weight drain down into my legs, down into the earth. And then when I've done that for a number of breaths, say 8 or 10 or 12 breaths, we'll do the other side. Right, so now I'm lotus stepping in this direction. 8 or 10, 12 breaths, down into the ground. I'll switch again, and now I do it with grounding. So when I'm grounding, I do it with both feet. I know earlier in the video I only said the right foot, but it's always both feet, right? So I stick my feet to the ground, and then I'm going to pick up one. And I'm going to try, so I settle like I'm rooting, but mentally I feel only stuck. And then I'm just going to pick up a leg. That's it, and I'm trying not to move up top. Okay, and then you train the other side, exactly the same. So what this becomes is a very difficult, very slow moving Qigong. I'm gonna make it way faster because otherwise it's really slow, but it's lotus stepping. So I'll start in my transitional posture, right? So and now what I'm feeling is I'm feeling my weight come out of my leg. That's it. And then I root, and then I ground here. And I root, and 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 I ground here. So on and so forth until I've gone all the way through the entire stepping sequence, which is normally just trained here, right? With hand movements, whatever. This is about legs. If you do it right, I'm doing it way too fast. It should be all you can do to make it around the circle once. If your legs aren't screaming at that time, you're not doing it right. I don't care how strong you are, it means you haven't released enough. Because as soon as you release a huge amount of weight into your legs, and you release your legs, more small muscle groups have to be responsible for movement than big ones. The small ones are not as strong. So, fall to the earth like they did out of there. And drop and be a part of the ground. But not a part of the ground that's buried below. Part of the earth here, like dust, right? Something that can be moved at a whim. And yet, it could also be a stone and not moved at all. Here's a little something from Israel. Thanks.